Hello, you guys. In today's lesson, we're going to be talking about your first grammar concept of Chapter 7a Grid, which is time expressions with Hace. Now, what is the purpose of this particular grammar concept? We want to use it obviously with time, and the idea is when you have some sort of action that started a long time ago, well, at least in the past, it could be the recent past or much longer past, like 10 or 20 years ago, and continues to this day into the present. In these situations, we're going to put our sentences together using these expressions with Hace. Now, how do we put this together? I think one of the easiest ways is to treat it like a formula. You have these 4 different pieces that you want to keep track of, and these will help you build your expression. There's 4 parts, and 2 of them will stay the same no matter what. And then the other 2 parts, you have to figure out what you want to say to make it work and make it accurate. We'll start our sentence with Hace. That's not going to change. And it can loosely translate into it's been. The second part then is the time expression itself. So an example could be 10 minutos, 10 minutes, but it could really be any space of time. It could be a very short time. It could be, like I mentioned before, years. You'll see as we do some practice examples how that's set up, but in general, you'll have some sort of time frame. The third piece to the puzzle is the word que. That is also one of those things that's not going to change. You're going to keep using that no matter what the other parts of the sentence are. And the last part is the present tense of whatever the verb is that you need in this example. So this section, a lot of our vocab's related to the verb jugar. So perhaps something that you've played for a long time and you continue to play, you would use juego, which is the yo form, present tense of the verb jugar. These are the 4 parts. Again, hace does not change. Time expression, however long something's taking place. Que does not change. And lastly, present tense of the verb, that will be depending on whatever activity you're talking about. I do think it's easier with examples. So let's take a look. There is the Spanish on top, English translation on the bottom. For our first example, hace 10 años que yo juego al voleibol. I have been playing volleyball for 10 years. Now, if we take a look, to start, we do have hace. That does not change. The next piece is our time period. 10 años, that's 10 years. So we know the time period's 10 years. Que, that does not change. And then last part here, yo juego al voleibol. I play volleyball. So juego is our present tense of the verb. Now, translation for that, I've been playing volleyball for 10 years. It might be helpful for you to translate it a little bit more, literally like piece by piece, which is maybe not the most ideal, but can totally still work. So if I was doing that, it'd be basically, it's been 10 years that I've played volleyball. Again, not exact translation, but I have found in the past that some students respond better when we translate it that way. Let's do another example. Hace ocho horas que yo duermo. I've been sleeping for 8 hours. Once again, we start with hace. Ocho horas is our time period, 8 hours. Que, not going to change. It's still going to just be que. And then duermo is our verb. This one's also in the yo form. For sleep, dormir is the verb to sleep. So yo duermo. I have been sleeping for 8 hours. Now, when we put this together, hace, it's been ocho horas, 8 hours. Que, that. Yo duermo, I've slept. Again, not an exact translation there, but that's the literal one if that's helpful to you. Let's do a couple more practice ones. We want to underline the time expression, then translate the sentence into English. If you haven't already done so, I would suggest pausing this video so you can practice that yourself. Let's continue. Check your work as we go over the answers. First up, hace 10 minutos que yo veo televisión. 10 minutos is what you should have underlined because that is our time period for 10 minutes. And then the translation, I have been watching TV for 10 minutes, or it's been 10 minutes that I've been watching TV. Número 2. Hace 2 horas que mis amigos y yo estudiamos para el examen. My friends and I have been studying for the test for 2 hours. Hopefully you underline dos horas, 2 hours. That's our time expression in this example. And the verb here, estudiamos. Hace, we keep. It's been 2 horas, 2 hours. Okay, that. My friends and I have been studying for the test. Slightly different organization, but that is how we can put it together. One more practice example. Hace 20 años que yo vivo aquí. This time we have a much longer time period. I have lived here for 20 years. We underline our expression 20 años, 20 years, and our verb here, yo form of the verb vivir, so vivo. Hace 20 años que yo vivo aquí. It's been 20 years that I have lived here. So we have that range. Now let's mix it up just a little bit and think about it if we wanted to ask a question in this format. The format's going to be set up very similarly. You'll actually notice that we need the same pieces still, but the one thing that we actually don't know in these situations is how long someone's been doing something, what the time period has been. We have to figure out that with the question. So instead of listing a time, we're going to say cuánto tiempo. That's our formula. So cuánto tiempo, how much time? Hace que, you're not going to change. And then whatever your present tense of the verb is, just like we did on the last one. So for example, if we're talking about watching television, like you watch television, how much time has it been since you've been watching television? Ves televisión would be your present tense of the verb, and then the action that you're doing. Let's go over some examples. First up, ¿cuánto tiempo hace que tú ves televisión? Just like we were talking about on the last slide, how long have you been watching TV? I start out with cuánto tiempo because that's what I'm trying to figure out. How much time has it been? Hace que, we're still going to use that. We don't have to worry about changing that. And if I want to know how long you have been watching TV, that's where I have to put it in the you form. Tú ves televisión. I do think this one's a little easier, so not as many practice examples here. This case, we want to underline the present tense of the verb. So don't underline hace, but the other verb that's in the sentence, and then translating it as again. So last time we were underlining the time period, but we don't know the time period in these examples, so we have to do it a little bit differently. Once again, pause this video so you can do the activity yourself, and then press play when you're ready for the answers. Let's go over the answers. Número uno. ¿Cuánto tiempo hace que tú juegas al béisbol? How long have you been playing baseball is our translation. And hopefully you underline juegas as the verb here. Now in this example, we still have cuánto tiempo. We're going to start with that for all of them. Hace que, we still have that. We want to say, we've got the to form here, so we know it has to be you. Tú juegas al béisbol. You play baseball. In this case, since we're looking at how long it's been happening, how long have you been playing baseball? Número dos. ¿Cuánto tiempo hace que ellas cantan? The first part's all the same when we do our translation. Here we have ellas as the subject, so we know it will be they, specifically the girls. And our verb that we need to underline is cantan. This is the ellos, ellas, ustedes form of cantar. So ellas cantan. How long have the girls been singing is how we can translate it. With this in mind, hopefully this is a helpful overview, but now that you've had a chance to go through these slides, it's time to do the practice. This time there is a paper copy of the practice, so if you haven't already, pick up a copy from the grammar tray up in the front of the room and work through that practice. When you get finished with that, you will want to check that in with Mrs. Satani.